Hey,
Woohoo!
hey,
I
success.
gotta love technology.
Oh yeah.
Well,
Well, third time's the charm, I
hey,
guess.
we made it. That's all
Yeah,
that
we
counts.
did. That's
Well,
good.
pleasure. Thank you for having me.
Yeah. Welcome, Jim. Thank you for being Facebook Live guest today.
Hey, no problem. I guess you want to start out with my Bigfoot experience, I would assume.
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a brief description about yourself. Just tell us a little about yourself, and go ahead and go into your story.
Okay. Well, I've had been a jack of all trades and a master of none for many years. Retired as an insurance man, uh, and just kind of living every day to day and trying to research and find out what's going on out there. But when when I was 10 or 11, I guess my dad would take me fishing down to Bolles Shoals, Arkansas every year. We go every year, it was no big deal. One particular year, I was used to the woods. It was not like it was a new place for me or anything. And I got tired of fishing and started heading back up to the cabin in those Ozark Hills with the gravel. I got halfway up in the woods from the boat dock to the cabins, and the woods went quiet. And then it was just this feeling. I mean, I don't know if it was like I didn't know infrasound at the time. I didn't know what it was, and I thought I seen something, but the fear that came across me, I never felt that before, and I'd run in the woods for years. I'd go down to the creek myself with my knife and my rope and go look for arrowheads. So it's not like I wasn't used to being in the woods. So but talk about the creepiest feeling I have ever had in my life. When you're halfway up to the boat, halfway up to the cabin and down to the boat dock, if I go to the boat dock, maybe nobody will be there. So I took off for the cabins, and there was a bunch of people up there, and I felt fine then. But it was the only time I was really ever freaked out down there, But the rest of the time I was there, my bed was under a window, and there was no way I was going to sleep in that bed.
Yeah.
I sat in a chair or on the couch in the front room the rest of the time I was there. But,
Yeah.
That was pretty much it. I mean, it just, the feeling, I can't express to you enough how scary it was. I don't know how to say it any other than that.
Did you like feel like something was watching you, like something
Oh,
didn't want you
absolutely.
there?
Absolutely. Here you're just walking in the woods and it goes quiet. Here I'm going up, like Winnie the Pooh, going, minding my own business, But, I was a kid, I'm going to go to the swimming pool and hang out. And all of a sudden, everything changes. So it changed my life. I know that because they really got me into it then. So that was pretty much it on that one. But I don't know. When I was 5 years old, I got hit by a car, and I had a near-death experience. I don't know if that changed some of the way my brain works or functions or anything like that. But I died in the ambulance. And, I could actually see them, feel them talking about me. I was floating over my body, and I think, you know what? I better get back in my body. It's not like remember that, But so I don't know if that changed, but the sensitivity ran on my mother's side. My grandmother was very sensitive to different things like that. So I don't know if that hit or just was a chance encounter or what. I don't know.
So. That sounds like a scary experience, being 5 years old.
Well, yeah, ended up in the Bermuda Triangle once. The ocean was completely flat. My uncle was running a charter fishing boat, and I said, "Hey, Uncle, I got a weird feeling." He said, "I do too." Winds up, everybody, we were out of there. I didn't even know I was in the Bermuda Triangle at that time. We got back on the shore. He said, "You were in the Bermuda Triangle today." and the same kind of weird, creepy, eerie feeling, you know.
Right on the sea?
Yeah, out on sea.
Oh,
I mean,
wow.
it went totally flat, like glass. An ocean don't do that. You know, I mean, it was flat. It was weird, you know. So that was my big thing.
Do you think maybe you guys came across some type of portal,
It
like on the water?
it could have been because, like I said, the water went totally flat. I mean, flat is, you know, like a lake when there's no wind on it. I mean, I'd never seen the ocean do that, you know. And my uncle was in the Navy. I mean, he was a sailor. So when I crawled up top to the top of the boat, said, you know, hey, I got a weird feeling. He said, so do I. You know, and we got out of
Yeah, sure.
there.
You're lucky to not get lost or
Oh man, I'll
get
tell you.
sucked into the portal or whatever's down there.
You know that guy that went through an airplane. You know that would made it 45 minutes faster. I don't know if you heard about him that went through there. His fuel, he used less fuel, and he got to where he was going. He was coming from one of the islands back to Florida,
Yeah,
and he
Florida Keys.
went through a portal. Yeah, went through a portal. You know, he didn't know what he was doing, but you know, you looked at fuel logs. You know how much he burned. He actually, you know, he went through a portal. So, I mean,
So he must have been flying longer than expected if it's
it shortened his
instruments on.
flight by 45 minutes, and he made the flight many times. I mean, you know, you watch enough documentary, you know, so to me, that's pretty good evidence that, you know, the guy made the flight all the time, but what, you know, an unusual flight for the gentleman, you know, so you know, there, who knows? There's so much stuff out there,
Yeah.
you know. I guess that
So, what do you think Bigfoot is? What's your opinion?
probably, I think it's probably an interdimensional being. You know, I think the way you know, it's a hide and seek champion of the world. You know, I think, you know, when they talk about where it goes down and all of a sudden it's gone, you know, you know, and then to be able to you look at those upside down trees in Alaska, those are amazing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
That would freak. I would say, Buff, it's time to go. you're
Yeah.
you're somebody. You're somewhere they don't want you to be.
I think people have seen upside down trees in other places too, not just Alaska. I
Oh,
find that
really?
fascinating. Yep.
I
Luckily, I haven't found that here. Thank you.
You know, I haven't been in the woods for a while,
Yeah.
but you know, if I found somebody silly enough to go with me, I'd certainly go out and go squatching. You know, but
Yeah.
I know there's some places over in Missouri. I'm just on the east side of Missouri, but just finding a group that wants to do it would be the thing. You know, I, uh, you, yeah, you hear so many stories. The one that sticks out in my mind is a gentleman was researching Bigfoot out west, and a guy stopped at a gas station who was ex-military, and he talked to him. And he said, "Hey, you know, you looking for Bigfoot?" He said, "Be careful." He said, "Our squad ran into him. Them boys shot at him, and it didn't go well for them," is what he said. So
Yeah.
that's kind of, you know, you never know what you're dealing with, you know.
Yeah. I
So,
know that my dad had heard, like, it was the guy's name's L.A. Marzulli. He had mentioned, he had this guy on his program. He mentioned that there's a place between New Hampshire and Massachusetts where there's a family of Bigfoot. And supposedly, if you go in a certain area with Bigfoot are, they actually eat people. I don't know if that's true or
I,
not.
I
Sounds
wouldn't doubt
scary.
it.
I know there's like a triangle not too far from there.
There's more than one triangle around.
Oh
I'll
yeah,
tell you.
yeah,
You know, you get them that Alaska triangle too. It looks like a lot
yeah,
of people disappear up there. You know, which I'd love to go, but you know, it's just one of those things. You know, you want to know.
yeah.
But
I have a friend of mine that went to the Bermuda Triangle. I'm wondering if he has any type of findings. I'd probably have to chat with him to see about it.
you know, like I said, I was just a kid when that happened. Both times when it happened. you know, and the Bigfoot thing really freaked me out. So did the Trump, you know. And the other weird thing I had, because you said we've been talking about weird things, there was a thing in the Midwest over here called the Saxtown Murders. And as a kid, we used to ride around the back roads. I wonder where that house is. You know, when the family of 5 got axe murdered, and it was never solved. There was actually a book written about it. I stayed out of the book. I was going through an ugly divorce at the time, and I didn't want, trying to get child custody. I didn't want anybody to be used against me. Let's just put it that way. And but ended up renting a house, and I didn't know I was renting a house. So be careful what you ask for, because it just might happen, you know. And it started out, people would come up the driveway and park, and I said something to the landlord. He said, it's just parking or something. So I didn't really believe that, but you know. And a couple of weeks later, he come up to me and said, "Hey, the newspaper." And I said, "Well, why is that?" He said, "Well," and I said, "Is this Saxtown Murder House?" He's like, "Well, yeah, it is." So I'm like, "Well, thanks. Well, you shouldn't have anything to worry about until the anniversary of the murder."
Yeah.
And it did. There was some freaky stuff happened. Got cold pounding on a door. I had one of my good friends stay, so I had a credible witness. So it wasn't, and I didn't want to be there by myself that night either. But it was banging up. It was weird. Banging on the door.
So, like poltergeist hanging around there.
Beating on the door. You know, I thought it was him, and he thought it was me. You know, because it was like 5 o'clock in the morning when this took place, and it would not be unlike either one of us to mess with the other. You know.
Was it like knocking?
Yeah, it was pounding on the basement door, and there was a gap under the door for you to look under, and there was no feet there, and you couldn't get to that basement door from outside the house. You know, and I told him, "Don't open the door," you know. And there was some moaning going on with it. We went and sat on the couch, and it was really, really cold in there. We threw a comforter on. You know, it was a Saturday morning. I know because I had to go to work one day later. And lasted about an hour or so, the cold, and then it went away. So I went to work, came home, you know, a little nervous, a little apprehensive. You know, nothing, you know, really. Now I must say, I had a touch light, one of those where you touch it and the light changes. I think it was my mom's. I had it sitting in the corner, and that thing would go off periodically. You know, and I figured it was just those 2 kids murdered. I figured it was just kids playing with light. Okay, I can handle that. That don't bother me, you know. But the worst part was afterwards. My washer and dryer were in the basement, and I did not want to go down and do my laundry just because of feeling of dread. It would suck the life out of it. I really started thought about going to the laundromat, just going downstairs. I'm telling you, just suck the energy out of you. You know, so when my lease was up, I was gone.
Yeah, I don't blame you.
I only moved about a mile down the road, and I was kind of worried about a hitchhiker effect thing, but that didn't happen, thankfully. So,
oh, that's
yeah.
Like something followed you. That's not good.
No, I didn't. Well, I told them they couldn't, but you know. But that's pretty much the weird stuff in my life. You know, I know you run around the woods all over the place.
Have you looked up the history of that house? Like what might have happened in the basement?
Well, you know, that family got murdered. It wasn't the actual house. The family got murdered. It was rebuilt on the foundation. And so, I mean, in one of the doors, they used some of the old lumber. You can see where there was an axe mark in one of the doors.
Oh,
yeah.
Kind of like the movie The Shining.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of that.
It was well, they never solved it, and this happened so many years ago. It was when it was on a horse and buggy and mud road, so it took them like 2 days to get out of there, you know, before anybody could even go to investigate it. But they never solved the murder. I'll take some pictures of it sometimes and put them up on I'll run by. I've been thinking about going out that way again. But you know, an Indian burial ground I found. They actually made a videotape of this. The guy, the landlord, had it, and just to the southwest of the house, there was an old Indian burial ground. When my son was out there, I said, "Hey, let's go down and make a fort." You know, he was a young kid. I thought it'd be cool. Man, we both got down there and got a weird feeling. Well, I guess we didn't build a fort in this part of the property. You know, we moved the other end. So, that's me rambling on and babbling about what I know.
Yeah.
So,
That was kind of something extremely kind of pretty scary.
oh, that's the scariest stuff that's happened to me in my years. And I'm a believer in all of it. I know it happened. I was there. I really do.
Has anyone else bought the house after you?
Somebody's renting it. You know.
I hope they had it blessed.
You know, I ran sage and everything else through there. You know.
Yes, holy water.
Yeah.
Dumping, sprinkling everywhere. In the basement.
I couldn't get up fast enough.
Yeah.
You know. But, you know, and like I said, I was lucky they didn't follow me. You know, because I thought, man, I'm only moving down the road about a mile and a half. You know. I like living out in the country. You know. So, but,
so when you had your Bigfoot encounter, when you felt like you were being watched, was it a time or anything? Did you feel like some people say when they encounter an infrasound, they feel sick or they lost time?
It was. It felt like I stood there for an eternity. Is all I can tell you. When it hit, you know, when it hit. Yeah, when I was standing there on the middle of the hill, like, do I go up or do I go? And I'm like, I was almost frozen for a little bit. And then I finally said, my safety was up. And a portly young man running up a rock hill in Ozarks, that was a little bit of a run. But you know, there was a bunch of kids at the pool, and I went swimming and stayed with a bunch of people till they got back from fishing.
So something probably obviously didn't want you.
No, and I tell you, I don't know if it was just the fear from that episode, but I wouldn't sleep. I mean, there's no way I was gonna, you know, it could have been my age, I don't know, but I was scared enough that my back was against the wall in the corner, watching the front door.
Did you smell anything, or did you hear any footsteps?
I heard a snap, and then, like I said, the woods just went quiet though. I mean, it was eerily quiet, you know.
So
and then,
you know when they're around, when everything's quiet. Yep.
And that feeling, yeah. And I'm like, oh, this is not good. Many times I've been in the woods, and many times because we go to the same resort. You know, it's not like it was a new journey for me up from the boat dock to the cabin. You know, and for it to happen at one time, that was the last time I walked down a foot.
I don't blame you.
Well, you know.
It kind of reminds me of the time when I got hissed at. I felt something was right outside. I know before my dad was getting hit by acorns when he got back to work.
Oh.
When I was walking out to take out the trash, I just felt like almost fear, like I shouldn't be going outside, but I knew I had to do what I needed to do, so I just went out anyway. So sure enough, I got hissed at, and for a while I ran away from where I got hissed at, and I just froze.
Wow.
And then when I was pretty scared. That was the scariest thing I had happen in my home. So I haven't had anything else like that happen, thankfully. I have felt like I've been watched.
Does your horse freak out or anything?
My horse is not anywhere near the home. It's like he's 4 to 15 minutes away.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if you kept your horse there.
No.
Okay.
He's kept. I bored him like 15 minutes. I don't think I want him here anyways. Weird stuff that happens.
Yeah.
It's like a state forest not too far from us. We actually, me and his name is Kyle. He's a researcher. He has a YouTube channel called Encrypted Connections. He and I were out there last winter, took photos and videos of the stuff that we found.
I think did you post some of those?
Yeah.
Yeah, I seen those when you were I was like, oh, that would have been cool. I just got to find somebody that would be willing to go. You know.
So I understand the feeling about being watched and stuff like that. It's scary. I don't know if I was hit by infrasound. I don't know. I felt like something didn't want me outside, and it said, something was telling me to go back inside. That's what I felt.
Yeah, I was just get out of here.
Yeah. Like, stay away from there. It was supposed to go stronger where the trash cans were in the trees. I'll probably share a photo of where the trash cans are compared to where the trees are. That's exactly where I felt it was strongest. Is get out of there. I don't want you there.
That's right. That's at your house, isn't it?
It is at my house. Yep.
That's what I thought. That's worse because you can't even really get away. You know?
Yeah. I don't know if maybe it was on the trees looking down at me and hissing, or if it was right there and I didn't see it. But I felt something was right there and I needed to get out of there. Yeah, that was.
Like I say, they are the hide and seek champion. I don't know if they can actually go into a different dimension. I really think that they might be an interdimensional, just based on some of the stuff I've seen. And that is a feat in itself. They said the Indians used to wrestle with them. They'd come down and wrestle, and then until one day the Bigfoot killed an Indian, and then that broke up the whole hanging together the two species. That's one of the stories I heard. You look at stuff like out on Skinwalker Ranch and stuff that goes on out there, and I know you've been close.
Oh yeah, several times. This year, it's definitely my third time going.
I'm jealous. I would love to go.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Dragon and Thomas, they ride on a bus if you get to the ranch, and Dragon and Thomas on the bus with you, and they tell all kinds of stories and stuff like that on the way, like to and from the ranch. So it's a lot of fun.
That sounds cool. I met Dragon at the last Skinwalker Ranch. Where was I? I was in Indianapolis on that one.
Yeah.
I went to the indie show for that one.
Yeah.
I met him, and he was probably the funniest one out of all of them.
Yeah. It must have been exciting.
Yeah, I went there, and I went to the Ancient Aliens thing. I really don't like Dr. Taylor. I think they're so intelligent. And, he's been on. I'd love to be inside his head and know what he knows.
Rockets, that's where it comes out.
Yeah. Well, he's got on YouTube Rocket City Rednecks that produce some shows, and he's got some documentaries up there too. Pretty interesting. But I think their hands are bound by the production company more than anything on bastard and what they do. NDAs. Other than that, that's pretty much my weirdness.
Yeah, that's good. Thank you so much for sharing and coming on. I know you were a little bit nervous, but you did pretty good.
I've spent a lifetime making a fool of myself, so it's really too hard to come up here and do it. Yeah, it wasn't. But other than a few technical difficulties, I don't think it was too bad.
Yeah. No, we are able to do it.
So okay.
Thank you so much for coming on. If anybody else wants to come on and share a story or anything, my Bigfoot Diary group is a platform to do it.
Okay.
So Yep. So thank you so much, Jim, for your time.
Thank you, Mary, and I really appreciate the invite, and it was a
Bye.
pleasure. All right.
Yep. Have a good day.
Thank you. You too.
Thank you, everybody.